300. It's your folks, Shaka. And we back again with another episode of the weekend recap, y'all. This is episode 8. Pull up, y'all. Pull up. So, y'all, we back and yeah, we got some things to talk about on this episode, most definitely. And we're going to definitely talk about them. But let's just go ahead and get into, the shout outs, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to the folks that's pulling up. I appreciate y'all. If you're pulling up to sub and hit that bell, you're sharing your comments and your opinion, your life experiences in the comments section. And you most definitely understand that hitting that like button don't cost you a thing. And so you pull up and do that. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. And I definitely appreciate those who are sharing the information. Shout out to Lacquer Black. I appreciate you. This is one of the first people that has shared my information on YouTube. And if you look at her channel, that's pretty much what she always do. You know what I'm saying? She's somebody that want the community to grow. She want to see the truth be realized. You know what I'm saying? And so I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Also, shout out to the Knitting Bohemian. You know, and I just want to say, y'all, that her content, she's just kind of trying to get the ropes with this creating on this social media platform and things like that. But her state of mind is in its own lane. You know what I'm saying? You can tell by what she shared in the comment section or when she's featured on the show. You know what I'm saying? And she also is someone that shares a lot of my information and my message, whether she's on Clubhouse, you know what I'm saying, or she's on Facebook, and I appreciate that. But shout out to y'all. But let's just get into the page of the week. And speaking of the Knitting Bohemian, this was actually a page that was suggested to me by her. I checked it out. I actually subscribed. I joined the community. The name of the page is Barter Black. It is also on Facebook. And let me tell you, it's a real networking page. The owner of the page, Angela, she's a representation of what the page is about, which is real networking. You know what I'm saying? Real people talking. I done pulled up and I ain't never for real just networked so much, on a community page. So, it stands for what she would like for it to represent, in my opinion. And I think that everybody should check it out. You know what I'm saying? If you listening to this, you can even grow your little social media page, just kind of mingling on there. The video of the week, we gonna go ahead and give it to the brothers over there at Dormtainment. I have been following them for some years. You know what I'm saying? They have a video out right now called Senegal Travel Vlog Part 1. And I guess they go to different parts over there. Dakar, Salai, Goree Island, and Lac Rose. Okay. And so it's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? It's about 45 minutes long. They got a little suspense in there. They got some teachable moments in there. It's a lot going on in the blog. And what's cool is the woman that is traveling with them, I think that she is actually from there. And so you get a little more in depth, you know what I'm saying, more in-depth understanding about what's going on over there in that location. So definitely check them out, y'all. Check them out. And, all of the people that I mentioned, y'all be sure to give them a chance. Sub to their channels. Whether I'm talking about Kwame Eats, Knitting Bohemian, I mentioned Dormtainment, I mentioned Angela with Barter Black, just, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Check them out. Lacquer Black, check them out. So, But yeah, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it though. Y'all know what we came here for. Let's get into it. You know what I'm saying? First off, we gonna go ahead and talk about the news. Okay, we're gonna speak about the news here. And the first thing we're gonna speak about is real quick. It's petty, but they had this thing like where in New Jersey, this toddler allegedly bought $1,700 worth of stuff online from Walmart. Okay, and they're saying that this child did all of this, ran it, got the payment, set up the address. This kid just did all of this stuff and was successful. And they just headlining this story. It looked like this Fox News was sharing this or whatever. And I'm just looking at this like, man, this is a stunt. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I said is because it just amazes me what these parents are going to, the lengths that they go to with their children to try to get some attention. I believe it's a stunt. It's just hard for me to believe it. You know, when I'm doing that now, I could be wrong about this Ayansh Kumar, who isn't even 2 years old, but you know, I don't know. But I just wanted to speak on that because people are doing the most out here to kind of go viral. I don't know. But you know, another story that I seen, y'all, I don't know if y'all been seeing these stories, but a lot of these stories of people going to these Waffle Houses and they are just like understaffed or whatever. And what they are doing is they're just giving the customers the opportunity to go back there and make their own food or help one of the workers back there when they are understaffed. And I just thought that was very funny and interesting because, you know, I said when this whole disease situation started or whatever, I said that we are moving in a time of, you know, people being self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to be able to do a lot yourself, you know, a lot yourself. And if you find that hard, you're going to struggle more than the average person. You know what I'm saying? And this is kind of like a sign of that. Just like a lot of these restaurants and these businesses, if y'all ain't noticed, using this excuse about this disease, like the services have just been so downgraded. You know what I'm saying? And it's just kind of like, they kind of just like, take it how we give it. You know what I'm saying? And so you're kind of finding yourself in a time where you would have expected for them to kind of get better with business and services. It's not like that. So you kind of find yourself having to really depend on, like I was talking about, you know, micro communities. You know what I'm saying? Your creativity and the ability to be self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's just that whole Waffle House thing is kind of like a symbolic way of showing that, hey, that is what's going on in the time. So I just wanted to speak on that, but y'all check that out. There's a couple of situations happen where they are doing this stuff. I'm like, man, it's crazy. But yeah. But the next thing in the news here, I read this article on the Daily Dot, right? And they were talking about how there's this talk, you know what I'm saying, about a woman red flagging a dude because he walked up on her in a party and she kind of was covering her drink. Y'all know how you got the straw in the napkin and, you know what I'm saying, you kind of try and cover your drink. He walked up on her and asked her, like, you know, why she got her drink like that. And she looked at that as a red flag. And I wanted to talk about that real quick because, again, this is a translate and reciprocate situation. And this is what I say about us as brothers, man. We got to learn to be some men who know something. You know what I'm saying? Because when, for example, a guy walks up on her and asks her a question like that, I mean, obviously anybody with common sense know that you do that whether you're a man or a woman. You know what I'm saying? You do it because you don't want nobody spiking your drink. You know what I'm saying? Bottom line, period. You know? And so if you're a man and you're asking a woman that question, I mean, she definitely ain't gonna feel safe or secure around you. You know what I'm saying? Whether she's with you or whether you're trying to get with her or whether you're just like somebody just in her area. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna suggest either you're just too green to understand, you know what I'm saying, what's going on, or you could be just playing dumb because you like, why ain't you let me get at you like that? You know what I'm saying? One of the two. That's just how, you know what I'm saying, on average, you know what I'm saying, just the woman is going to interpret that. But anybody would interpret that like that. Like, man, why wouldn't you know that, bro? I mean, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, as men, we got to be better at, you know what I'm saying, knowing something, translating and reciprocating, man, being men that women are going to be safe around or feel safe around, you know what I'm saying, by way of our wisdom and what we know. So I don't knock the red flag that the guy got from the situation, you know what I'm saying. I mean, because on average, I mean, most would know better. But let's go ahead and move on, though. You know, I wanted to speak on this situation with Rondell Waters. Okay. The father of the deceased Latima Warren's baby. Okay. He's a father of one of her children. Now, Rondell Waters was charged with homicide. Now, he apparently murdered Latima, allegedly, and chopped her body parts up and put it in the basement in trash bags, okay? And so I want to say this, that is horrible what happened, and that should not have happened, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? But what I don't like is how they report it. You know what I'm saying? They just pretty much are just saying that, and that's it. We don't get to know the story or anything like that, and that's very important. Because to be real, when you look at both of them, you know, it just kind of looked like, you know what I'm saying, a dusty situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it was. And the only thing we're hearing is, oh, she was so sweet. That's it. The end. He chopped her up and killed her. And that's not a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Because what that continues to promote is that, and I said this in the Young Dolph video, that we're just these barbaric people. And this is just what we're doing. See, in these other communities where this stuff is more likely to happen, okay, the reason why we're not so critical of them, because they're going to give you a reason for every one of those individual type of situations. And so in turn, people will continue to give them the benefit of the doubt, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? You know, we'll get to thinking, oh, well, not everybody like that. And, you know, that was just an individual. And I know some people that's in my church, they ain't like that. See, you know, we'll get to thinking like that because that's how they run their propaganda. But when it comes to us, you know, it's just kind of like, well, you know, that's just kind of like what they do in the ghetto. You know, men just chop women up and put them in the trash. And that's just not true. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I think that, you know, we should just be more invested in kind of finding out what happened. What happened? You know, whether right or wrong. You know, did he give her something? Did she give him something? Were they going to expose it? You know what I'm saying? What were they fighting over? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? So that we know and we can apply accountability the right way and where it needs to be. And so that we can work more on trying to address these things, and so that we can fix them and hopefully prevent them from happening again, instead of just walking away saying, well, that's what happened in the hood. We just barbaric like that. And you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, like, here's the difference. Down in Dallas, Texas, there was a Hispanic dude that shot a woman that was 17 years old. I believe he was 16, 17 as well. He shot her 22 times. Okay. Now, they made sure that they got an explanation within 24 hours, which I believe that this was a crime of passion. This dude was obsessed and angry with her and, kind of just did what he did. But, we know this now. We can say, hey, that was a crime of passion. We know that happens with individuals, et cetera, et cetera. But with us, all we know is that he just killed her and chopped her up. And we just got to be more invested because that's not good. That's not a good look. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. Bad things happen. And especially something like that, because that doesn't oftentimes happen among us. But I wanted to just speak on that real quick, y'all. Can't keep allowing them to control the narrative by, the lazy perceptions that they be allowing public to see. So let's just go ahead and move on to the entertainment. Okay. And the first thing I want to speak on real quick, somebody asked me, are they starting to make them other groups of women look a little more, I guess, sister-like? And I want to answer that just from a man's perspective. I would say yeah. Because just like I told y'all with the Pete Davidson dude and things like that, them guys over there, these people are not the people that are in demand like that today. They have to market them, up front. And so, yeah, they gotta, because among themselves, I'll just say this, because I'm not gonna get too deep in this, but 50% of the country, I believe, is under 35. Okay, they don't make up for none of those numbers for real, for the most part. They make up for the older half. Okay, and this has a lot to do with them having problems among themselves. Okay, with just procreating, children's issues and things like that. And so, in order for them to kind of pick up on this and change it, they have to promote them to other groups of people. They have to promote themselves to other groups of people. And so that they can get down with the get down. And so what you're seeing today, this is another reason why the trend is of them adopting a lot of our culture. It's to kind of blur the lines and to get them to assimilate them more, because when they just got decades and generations of having this culture of thinking that they are the best and they don't need anybody, when in reality they need other people more than anybody. That's a problem for them in this day and age when they're having those problems. And then they have that kind of mindset. And so what they're trying to do today is promote. They use that one person, the A Deli. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The one that they just hype up so much. That's one of the reasons why they kind of got her hooked up with a so-called brother. Known brother. They got her looking sister girl like, because they're trying to promote that to their group of women. They want them to be a little more marketable to the other type of men. And so, yeah, in my opinion, that is truth. But just moving on. And I want to say this. If y'all want to get an in-depth understanding of what I'm saying, pull up to that clubhouse. Be sure to follow. But if you look at my profile, I got a conversation where I speak on the swirling and stuff like that with the Nitty Bohemian in there. Thing I like about Clubhouse is you don't really need an audience to share a conversation. Because it'll just always be there. And, a small timer like me, that's a benefit. But, y'all can pull up and check that out. And that will really answer all the questions to that little thing that I spoke on there. But just moving on. They had a situation with this dude, Penny Hardaway. he snapped on the media. um, and people have been talking about that. But, in my opinion, they oftentimes do that to get us to snap. Okay. And, when it's on TV, it's good entertainment for them. And in real life, it is too. You know what I'm saying? Well, when they're not held accountable, when you don't get to them or you don't put your hands on them or something, they think it's funny. I've had situations in my lifetime last like where I've had to do business or communicate with these people, and they like to do stuff like ask you real silly or dumb questions, and shit to get you to snap. You know what I'm saying? Or just ask you stuff in a certain way, or just something like that, and they think it's funny when you kind of snap, or they find it entertaining watching you trying your best not to snap. And so when he did what he did, I'm with him on it. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like in those situations what they want when they don't have to deal with like being held accountable for it. But man, I mean, I think that they do need to raise the bar of some of them reporters, because I mean, their job is to help people understand, you know what I'm saying, what's really going on. Not for them to just be up there doing silly stuff just to get somebody to snap on something or something. But yeah, I just wanted to speak on that real quick, y'all. But moving on to this next thing, I was gonna put this in social, but it's entertainment. Master P versus Wack 100. Okay, y'all. And Wack, I guess he was on Clubhouse. He called P out. He kind of said he was broke, and he kind of said, he's not that dude yesterday. Sold his masters, and that was one of the biggest things that P was prided for, and things like that. And shout out to the brother looking familiar, because he wanted to know my opinion on this. Brother, I didn't tell you this, but I'm with Wack on this one. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a problem with this, because y'all, Wack is just right. And at the end of the day, P gave up on what we give him clout for today. You know what I'm saying? Today, P is the exact dude that he said that he wasn't, and he wasn't going to be yesterday. You know what I'm saying? And, a lot of y'all who can remember, you take 15, 20 years from you, if you could remember, P was that dude. He was doing real good, dropping all the albums, you know what I'm saying? Just doing it all. And he used to always speak heavy on how a lot of brothers wasn't getting they cut, a lot of brothers wasn't this and that, calling brothers out. And the thing about dudes like P is they know the game. They understand the generational game at this point. And so he kind of parade around today like he's still that dude, because oftentimes we pass down jaded history. We pass what we like down and not the whole story. You know what I'm saying? In the real. And so he's kind of just been moving around kind of like he's still that P, that independent P of yesterday, and he's not. And I think that that's, I don't have a problem with Wack 100 doing that, because I think that that's one of the most important things that we got to learn to do today. We got to learn to see things for what they are, so we can start from there. You know what I'm saying? And come up with different ways of going about stuff. Because I said this just recently in one of these other videos, we got maybe the last episode, but we got way too many heroes and stuff. And we just don't have a lot of solutions and innovation to go with that. You know what I'm saying? And we just got to start raising the bar. So, I'm definitely not the one to agree with Wack 100. You know what I'm saying? He's over there, I'm over here. But, I can find common ground with him on that. I agree with him calling that out, because it's just true. And when Master P responded, he didn't really dispute it either. And so, it kind of is what it is. I mean, shout out to P. I mean, he's still a dude, maintaining his life. I mean, I don't see him doing anything destructive. I mean, he is on that side, but whatever. But let's get to the truth of the matter. Okay? Let's get to that, y'all. And the first thing I want to talk about on the truth of the matter is this guy, China Mac. Okay? Now, I seen a couple of videos posted about it, but I had never clicked on it. And then when I came into the YouTube on the home thing, they had a video by him saying, so people have a problem with what I said. And so I just, before I listened to some of the videos or whatever, I listened to what he said. And so basically, y'all, there was a situation way in China where these so-called black basketball players, they were called the N-word, okay? And people made it a thing to get the video and share it or whatever. So apparently the so-called black community over here looked at it, and they looked at this dude, China Mac, to speak up about it. And like he is expected to do, if you understand these other groups and culture, okay, he played the situation pretty much down. You know what I'm saying? For the most part. You know what I'm saying? And why did he play the situation down? Okay? Because he most likely came from a place of culture. And unlike us, okay, his culture is about his circle and not everybody. And we are for everybody. The great many of us over here, so-called black people over here. That's why our feelings are always hurt every time this stuff happen. And I mean, I be seeing some of the most thoroughest of people just kind of, when you talk to them, when you hear them talk, they kind of sound like they just was let down. You know what I'm saying? See, how we work is we continue to give people passes, okay? Because that's how we think we earn respect and allies for other groups of people. We care so much about what other groups of people do, man, and what they think about us. Okay, this is why we give them so many passes. Okay, in the long run, time after time, we are always on the losing end because of it, and for good reason. Because you're not supposed to give a damn that much about what other groups of people think. To the point it's at the detriment of your own community. And that's what we do, okay? The bottom line is, number one, just because people are living or slumming in our culture, okay, it does not mean they care about what we care about. You know what I'm saying? When are we gonna get that, man? And we need to stop trying to make that an invisible contract with these people that come in and just sit around and kick around and do whatever with our culture. Okay, there are people out here talking like, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, y'all, he kind of let them down. You know what I'm saying? Because they thought he really cared. You know what I'm saying? Based on some of the things that he said, and I'm looking at these guys like, really, man? I'm just like, we really got that Stockholm syndrome problem running deep, man. It's real deep with us, man. And we don't see it. That's the problem. And don't tell us that we got these issues. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, man, no matter how much you want it, no matter how much you give these other groups of people and things like that, the N-word don't mean the same to them. These other things don't mean the same to them. You know what I'm saying? Like it does us. Even the Fresh and Fit situation, they had one video where some dude who was kind of like Hotep, and he gave them the whole spiel on how he loved a so-called black woman. He wasted his time telling these dudes all this stuff. These dudes don't care about that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real, man. We as so-called black people, primarily so-called black men, because we supposed to be leading this shit, man. We need to stop being so emotional and simple, dog. You know what I'm saying? And it's just crazy. I mean, cause just really, man, because some Asians across somewhere, because they were yelling out a name, we want to get some old rah-rah outrage about it. Just in general, man, other groups of people, they're not even used to responding like that anyway. What they're used to doing is they're used to getting their money up, getting their business up, and responding like that. That's why China is not the slum hole that it was 30, 40 years ago today. Okay? Because that's how they respond. But but we want this dude to respond like that and just care in general, man. We got to stop, bro. And again, this is another guy that so-called black folks gave this position to. Even on that video I was telling y'all about, you got so-called black folks, man, people gonna hate. Do the tap dancing. Period. You know what I'm saying? And so, just want to leave it there on that, man. But the next thing was this whole YouTube community with the Tasha K situation. Okay. And I wanted to talk about this because, there are so many people right now talking so heavy about Tasha K. Tasha K this, Tasha K that. Now, one thing that I will say is a lot of the lawyer react things, not talking about that attorney over there, but a lot of some of the lawyer react situations, I'm not talking about them because they're really just giving you some factual stuff, going through documents, things like that. They're pretty good, you know what I'm saying? But you got a lot of these people that are calling out the behaviors of Tasha K, what she did, how she was doing it. And I'm just looking like, why didn't y'all have that same energy yesterday? If a lot of people were saying what they're saying yesterday about Tasha K, when those other folks didn't have their hands in it, like the entertainment industry ran by those folks, or the federal court ran by those folks, you know what they would have been called? They would have been called a hater. They would have been demonized for it. They would have been this and that. And that's why I'm looking at a lot of you so-called YouTubers out here, content creators or whatever, like y'all a joke. Because y'all didn't have that same energy yesterday. And see, that's why with me, I stand on everything I say. You know what I'm saying? I don't need nobody to prompt me to speak on what's right or wrong. I am an advocate for the community governing ourselves. Okay? And in order for that to be a situation, people got to speak on what it is. You know what I'm saying? And you got to do it without the intervention of other people, because that's pretty much how so-called black folks is. And one thing I'm gonna say about Kwame Brown is that one thing that he did bring to the table, he don't speak on it much but the go along, get along game. He was right about that, because the majority of the so-called black community is the best definition of it. I remember when it was hot, he was speaking on it a lot. You would have so many black folks in the comment section talking about it. Yeah, they go along, get along. I'm looking, knowing that 90 to 95% of that comment section is go along, get along. And so that's just real. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need to keep that same energy. Because I'm seeing a lot of people now making posts, trying to get them numbers, this and that, yada, yada, yada. What do they say? Doing it for the algorithm, I guess is what they saying around here. But to me, y'all just looking real weak. You know what I'm saying? And like a bunch of jokes. And so I'm just going to say that, keep that same energy. You're for real. Because it would be beneficial. You know what I'm saying? If it's right and if it's done in good faith and in hopes that we can learn something and get better. Because now, as you can see, it's not about somebody saying something because they see that, hey, maybe, me speaking against this could make the community better or put some better alternatives out there. That's not what it's about. Like clockwork, it's about numbers, you know what I'm saying? Getting the views up and things like that. And it cannot be like that all the time. You know what I'm saying? No group is like that. I've said this before. A man couldn't buy Amazon from that other dude over there for $20 trillion. You couldn't do it. Okay? Because it ain't about the money. It's about the power, influence, and control. But let's just go ahead and move on. I wanted to speak on this because somebody did ask me a few questions about the entertainment industry, but one of them was, why are they bringing down the hammer so hard now? I mean, you heard about the Lisa Ray speaking out against the entertainment industry, the Ari situation. We see Tasha K and different things. I think that the entertainment industry kind of realized, just through Wendy Williams, because when Wendy Williams kind of went out of the game, I think they were kind of sleeping on the fact that she was kind of the only one holding the game up. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I guess maybe then they were kind of thinking, well, once she's gone, we can just easily replace her. But you can't obviously do that today when you got people in social media, such as, Tasha K, who's very influential. And I mean, a lot of some of the stuff that she was doing, like getting the R. Kelly info and stuff like that. I mean, that was on the caliber of what the entertainment industry could bring to the table, because they weren't really bringing it like that. They're not bringing it like she is still as of now. So I think that's why they just came in, because they weren't taking it seriously, but now they are. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely a entertainment side now and a social media side. And I think that if so-called black folks want to see more independent stuff and be able to do more independent things and things like that, you don't want that line blurred too much, okay? You don't want it blurred too much. And so, but that's just what I think. That's it for the truth of the matter, y'all. That's it for the truth of the matter. But let's get into this social media talk, okay? Let's get into that. Now, the first thing is, I spoke to the brother Divine Intellect, you know what I'm saying? And he had a question, and I'm going to answer that. I told him I was going to answer this here. And he was asking me about my thoughts on dudes who are married or in relationships, and they are kind of like upfront in this social media thing with women who are confrontational with men on YouTube. I think they are mouse, not men. And just to fill in a little bit, they have women that are on YouTube, and they're kind of like so-called the male version of, the roasting of the men, kind of like the manosphere. They like the woman version of it. And these women are very confrontational with men, okay? This is what they get up and do. This is pretty much what you're going to pull up to hear and see. They're not doing anything like a Dr. Michelle, a knitting bohemian. They're not trying to help women discover their value, you know what I'm saying, and be their better selves. This is not really what they kind of are really into, okay? Their whole thing is, anti so-called black men. And they have men that are married to them, and some of these men are up front. And I'm just going to say this: I'm not a fan of the men making State of the Union addresses to women. You know what I'm saying? About women talking about they need to change. And I'm not a fan of women doing that either. In fact, I think that's a higher risk thing because a woman has no business being confrontational with a man. Okay? All right? On average, that's not a woman's place. And it shouldn't have to be her place. That shouldn't even be something that a woman should have to worry about. Okay? It's just not. And when you got a woman that's waking up and that's on her mind, and she's dealing with a man or they're dealing with men who are not getting up saying, hold on, you know what I'm saying? Let's try to figure out ways that you can just worry about speaking to the woman, okay, without bringing up or insulting men, you know what I'm saying? And let me handle the men for the most part. Okay, let me handle that for the most part. I know that sometimes we're gonna have to have some things to say about both sides or whatever, but let me handle that. The fact that they don't have that, and that's obvious that they don't have that, because this is pretty much what these women do day in, day out. It's just it's a sign that those men are not to be taken seriously, and I see that a lot of those type of men, they call themselves trying to get at dudes like so-called Kevin Samuels and things like that. And I mean, to me, those men are just one of the golden girls over there. So how are you gonna be able to get at Kevin Samuels like that? You know what I'm saying? Or anything of that nature. All right. And so to answer your question, brother, that's what I think. Those dudes are not to be taken seriously. Because if they were, their women would definitely be a better example. Okay? That they are trying to be an example for this community that needs examples. You dig? And so I'll just go ahead and leave it there. The next thing I wanted to speak on is somebody asked me another question about, you know what I'm saying, Tasha K, hot thing, y'all. But they wanted to know, do I believe that the backlash towards Tasha K is being initiated by the entertainment industry? And that is a good question, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to say no, okay? And they don't need to, okay? They don't really need to. A lot of the backlash is kind of like, again, I think I told y'all before, it's kind of like a vacuum of some sort. But I think Kwame Brown is dealing with the same type of thing. We're going to speak more about Kwame Brown here in a little bit. But, you know, Tasha K, she don't really have no shooters or no hitters up front. You know what I'm saying? For her on in these social media streets. And when you're kind of like at a milli plus up there doing it like that, you know, you got to have them shooters out there for you. You know what I'm saying? And she didn't really have any. I mean, I seen her live, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, none of those people that I seen on that live was really kind of speaking up for her. You know what I'm saying? It's understandable that she can't really speak for herself right now. But none of those people were really saying, hey, you know, let me get creative with the content on how I'm going to try to, you know what I'm saying, speak up, kind of defend Tasha K. Let me do some lives, facilitate, try to see if we can do some things here. Tasha K didn't have that. And more importantly, she didn't have that from, you know, people up front. And what was kind of like real bad was there were some people that kind of that she put up front, kind of in the hundreds of thousands of followers, I'm hearing, and they kind of just, you know, kind of turned on her or whatever and acted real shady. So, you know, I think this is over now, and, you know, they're saying that she kind of had to go with what she had to pay with, but I hope that she understands that, you know what I'm saying, as a person of her status, that you got to have hitters out there. And not just people that you like, you know what I'm saying? People that you know is going to be like, okay, nah, I ain't going to let this happen. You know what I'm saying? On team, on community, or just on whatever. And that's real important. Because, you know, a lot of people, to me, a lot of her circle is looking kind of, you know what I'm saying? They looking kind of nilla right now. You know what I'm saying? Because none of them got up and really did no real hitting. It seemed like they kind of try to play it safe themselves. You did. You know what I'm saying? But that's what I would say. And kind of like I say, man, Kwame Brown, uh, he's kind of dealing with the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I mean, he had people kind of just being yes people in the beginning, but yes people are not the same as the hitters and the shooters. You know what I'm saying? It had people being a lot of the yes people with him, and that was because them analytics, them numbers was moving. You know what I'm saying? But when it came down to them having to be the people that actually had to be creative in how they were going to defend him and stuff like that, when it came to this Gilbert Arenas stuff, you know what I'm saying? And now kind of like this Oshay Duke stuff, kind of like Ghost Sound. Ain't nobody really kind of stepping, you know, scared. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to be caught up and lose anything or whatever. They don't want to lose with Kwame help them gain. But yeah, that's just kind of like what it is, y'all. You know, and I'll just say that, I hope they kind of emphasize that on a little more. Pay attention to that. I had them shooters and things like that. But let's just go ahead and move on. The next thing is just about this Oshay Duke Jackson and Kwame Brown thing, y'all. And so just getting to that, some people are saying that, Oshay Duke was hating. A lot of people are saying that, he did just keep it real with Kwame Brown, and, he was kind of right. And I'm just going to say this, I agree with Oshay Duke Jackson. You know what I'm saying? I agree with what he said, and I understand why he came out and said it. Because he had kind of spoke on it. He spoke on the situation on how Kwame came up on, hundreds of thousands of subs. You know what I'm saying? in like 2 months. You know what I'm saying? And he just kind of came up on some luck that when you look at it, a lot of people are kind of like saying now that he's just taking it for granted. When you look at this dude, Oshay Duke Jackson, and I've told y'all this before, I've said this in the video where I addressed him, he has helped a lot of people. He's kind of been in the circuit for a very long time. And when you look at people that are ahead of him, like Kevin Samuels, and there's some other people over there, he even helped a lot of them fresh and fit dudes get successful. You look at him, and you kind of look at it like, dang, he ain't hit those marks yet. I think he just hit 200,000. Now, I think he comes out like the type of guy that doesn't really let that bother him, because the manosphere itself is successful. And so I think that that's just probably kind of like what he's cool with. However, I think that it can get to him when you look at a dude like Kwame Brown, and you get all of these followers and stuff, and when you kind of look at your catalog, you haven't really brought anything to the table. Because yeah, we can say that Oshay Duke Jackson do Wendy Williams stuff, Mel Wendy Williams stuff a lot, but he has co-signed a whole lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So he has brought something to the table. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's just he brought that dude to the table or something like that. But when you look at Kwame Brown's catalog, with him coming up, you know what I'm saying, like he did, but even kind of like when you look before, what has been the quality of his content? And even if it's not the quality of the content, visuals or whatever, then we look at your information. What have you brought to the table? Because y'all know me, you know what I'm saying? I like to ice them. I like to roast people and stuff like that, along with certain things when I feel like people deserve it. But at the end of the day, you going to leave away from this channel being influenced by something, inspired, or you're going to learn something. You know what I'm saying? A seed to think, a seed to grow, or something like that. And so I think that Oshay Duke Jackson was in a good place to really speak up. You know what I'm saying? Towards that, because yeah, we are living in a time where good content is in demand. The good content is just in demand. YouTube has been around for what, about 17, 16 years now. And to be honest, y'all, trends change every like 10 years. And so YouTube is kind of like at that, is well past due of that. And so if it's just kind of like not your information, okay, then what I'm saying, the content just in general has to be presentable. And I think that once you get at those levels, 300K, 400K, I mean, you way up there. I think both had to be popping. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way. And I think that Kwame Brown, is capable of doing that. Whether he wants to or not, I don't know. But he could expect for people to start calling it out, and whether he gonna keep complaining about it or not. I mean, but so yeah, I agree with what Oshay Duke Jackson said on that. Whether I agree with Oshay Duke Jackson on a lot of things or not, he was right about this one. But moving on, y'all. The last thing we're gonna speak on here is this De'Ara Taylor alleged scandal. Okay, the whole scandal that people are talking about. Now, look, I will say this. Okay, I will say this. People, to me, are still kind of reaching. People are, and that's the thing. I mean, I think that a lot of these outlets out here ain't even being creative with the angles, you know what I'm saying? But that's just my opinion. Little YouTuber over here. But people are claiming that, now that De'Ara kind of went out on Ken and this and that. And we don't know when they really ended that relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because, yeah, part of this is still a business. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really know when they ended the relationship and things like that. So who knows, but people are kind of like trying to use this and start this narrative. But what I want to say just in general, y'all, because, I'm going to link with the Nitty Bohemian and just have a few other people take a look at it or whatever, and we're going to kind of follow back up. But just me speaking on it, I got some questions, okay? I do got some questions this time, okay? Hey, y'all let me know in the comment section. And y'all go ahead and like this information for sure if y'all want us to get down to kind of seeing what's going on. But I got some questions for y'all over there. The first question is, why did this woman just come out with this information? This is something that you should have been concerned about just right then, right there, when it happened. Okay? Because I have that question, and because she just brought it out now, just recently, and things like that, it definitely tells me that there are different sides to this story. Okay, so what brought about this conversation? Was this the first time De'Ara had just said something? Were y'all playing a game? You know what I'm saying? When did you address her after this conversation? Which means, did you go holler at her about it? You know what I'm saying? Right after what? You know what I'm saying? But the fact that she came out about it now, it just, it's not really adding 100% up. We got to get more to the story, but we definitely gonna follow up with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that we just gonna go ahead and leave it there, y'all. We just gonna go ahead and leave it there. Okay? And I appreciate y'all pulling up. You know what I'm saying? Y'all go ahead and like this information. You know what I'm saying? It don't cost you a motherfucking thing. Go ahead and hit that like button, y'all. But most definitely hit that sub button and that bell. Because we gonna drop shit that y'all like, alright? It's your folks, Shock of the Urban Philosopher. I'm out. It's 300.